Welcome to the Native Diamond Podcast.
Oh, shit! What you waiting for?
What the fuck is up, everyone? 𝕾𝖎 here, back again with a new podcast episode. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I really do appreciate it. I didn't post an episode last week. I think some things came up. You know, sometimes I have some shit lined up and then, you know, those people flake, or, you know, just sometimes stuff happens. Sometimes I like to take a mental health break. I encourage everyone to always be aware of your mental health status and trying to be aware of what you can do in your own life to make things as best as possible. Life comes at you fast. Life is hard. I don't have to explain this. We all know it's a tough time right now for a lot of different reasons. So, hey, sometimes if you have to take a step back from whatever it is, do it. Take a step back. Make sure that you're happy. That way, everything that you do ends up being great because you're just in a good mood and you're just for it. So, there's my little spiel. Make sure you're taking care of yourself mentally, physically, all that. Be as healthy as you can be, okay? But anyway, we have a fun one today. I got to hang out with a portion of Octopus Montage, Alex and 𝕾𝖍. Alex does the unclean vocals and guitar work, and 𝕾𝖍 is the drummer. Super nice dudes. They're kind of like a easy core band, metalcore, pop punk. Super fun group. I really enjoy their music. I really dig what they do. We're going to play some of their music on the show. We're going to play their new single, Voices. It just dropped February the 19th. And we're also going to play Grow Up later on. Before we get started, please like the video if you're watching the video. Please subscribe. Follow the podcast or whatever platform you're on. The outreach on these podcast platforms aren't that great when it comes to promoting new shows. If you guys like the show, please just share it. You can support the podcast if you'd wish. There's a link below. It's through Anchor. You can donate as little, or you don't have to donate shit. You can just hang out, listen to it, like it. So anyway, let's get into it. Here's my conversation with Alex and 𝕾𝖍 of Octopus Montage. What's up, my dudes? 𝕾𝖎 here. This is Native Diamond Podcast. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Today, we're going to have fun. We're hanging out with Octopus Montage. We're hanging out with Alex and 𝕾𝖍. What's up, guys?
Yeah, dude.
Yo, how you doing, man?
Pretty good. Can't complain. Beautiful Tuesday day. And, you know, I'm just kicking back. So we're just hanging out now.
I've honestly lost track of the days. I didn't realize it was Tuesday.
It's Tuesday.
It's like every day is Friday for you guys now.
Literally, man.
Literally.
Do you guys sleep in every day, or do you try to make a point to like get up and like have a routine?
I think it's a bit of both, really. Like,
It is,
I think it's got to the point where we sleep in, but that's normal. So you just end up work, like you do your work, and then you might like you go to bed at like 5 a.m. and it's just normal at this point. Like, it's so stupid, but like it's a bit of both. I mean, we've been in lockdown for like 6 months or something. So I think anyone that's kept the routine like to a healthy standard, like fair play, like.
Yeah, and it feels like you guys haven't really been able to catch a break because you went in from like one lockdown to semi opening up into another lockdown.
Yeah. I think that's the biggest worry for this next one.
Yeah, I feel like there's as much as I don't want it to be another one, I feel like there's at least another one coming, you know, like, is this the second or third one? Like, no idea. Like,
right. Yeah, that's scary. And like watching from a distance, because I'm in the States, obviously, but, you know, we tend to follow suit with what other countries are doing at the time. So you guys being locked down doesn't look too good for us over here. So,
are you guys allowed to just do your thing, or?
To be honest, like, well, I live in like the more southern or southeast part of the States, and there's a lot more like rebelliousness or something like that. Like, people don't want to wear the mask. People want to go about business as usual. They're throwing parties. They're doing all this shit on social media. So like basically exposing themselves. And it kind of looks like, it's going to take a long time for us to fully recover or like go back to whatever the new normal is going to be, because no one wants to follow the rules,
No.
No, yeah.
We've had it a bit like that over here, but like I imagine, like, from what you're saying, if that's like the standout thing that everyone's doing it, then it must be like horrible. But I mean, we're meant to be getting the vaccine, like, I mean, it's already been rolled out on it, but like to the, older people and more vulnerable people.
Yeah.
But I think we're meant to be back to normal in like summer, but
I think what they said was they're going to vaccinate all adults by either June or something. So obviously by then, because like bars, restaurants, clubs is like 18 plus. Obviously with adults being 18 plus over, that's good for us, like as adults, like everything hopefully will go back to normal, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Or it's just, I think it's going to be weird to see like what the new normal is going to look like and whatever that means, because I mean, it was so quick to switch over to like, COVID mode, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Once you start seeing the plexiglass stuff popping up at stores and you start seeing the arrows in the grocery stores and stuff, you're like, all right, this is how it is now.
It did start like an end of the world film, to be fair. It was mental.
I don't think it ends on everyone's vaccinated either. Like, it goes on, like, because everyone's vaccinated, it doesn't disappear. Like,
there's other variants.
So.
Yeah, man, I have a really bad feeling that like, well, everyone will get vaccinated and then this new variant will come in that no one like knows about and just be like the sequel to the film or whatever. Like,
oh yeah, like the coronavirus strikes back.
Yeah.
There is a film. Have you heard of this film called Songbird?
No.
It's like kind of a new one. I would play the whole trailer, but I'd probably get sued. But so basically, well, I saw it on like Amazon Prime or whatever. But it was like one of those early access movies, and you can like pay to rent it or whatever. But anyway, it's basically like if this goes on for like 4 years, what that fourth year would look like. And the government is like breaking down your apartment door if you like have a like temperature. And it looks pretty insane. I think it's the guy, if you're familiar with the movie The Purge.
Oh yeah, of course.
So it's like the creator of The Purge, and there's I forget which other movie, but it's like that style of like just kind of like anarchy kind of thing, and it's just like untamed.
I think I've seen it advertised, to be fair. I think I've seen it advertised.
I'm thinking about it.
Yeah, it looks pretty sick. Like, I wanted to see that because I just feel like we're not to start scaring people, but like like I just feel like we're heading in that kind of direction where it's going to turn into like a modern day witch hunt where you're like, you had the fever, you have the cough.
Just blame everyone that was like, blame everyone that said The Last of Us was so good. Do you want to like live it? Just blame it on them because it's their fault.
Cursed us. But anyway, let's kick off these icebreaker questions. I know some people really like this part of the show, so I don't want to skim over it. But anyway, basically how I started off, either or style questions. Say the first thing that comes to mind. Go with your gut. That's all I ask. Okay.
Oh no.
Don't overthink it. So anyway, I'll kick it off with the first one. Dance, Gavin, dance, or bless the fall. Who you got?
Dance, go dance. Dance, go dance. 100%.
Nice. So like, did you like the new Dance Gavin Dance record, or are you referring to older stuff? I
absolutely loved it. When Strawberry Wake came out, I was like, I couldn't get over the fact because they went from I used to listen to that. I really also Strawberry Swisher Part 3, I think it was called.
Okay.
And that was like, I fell in love with that, and I've just had this massive. I've just got this massive place in my heart for Dance Gavin Dance. I don't really listen to Bless the Fall that much.
Mate, Bless the Fall go from being like the most emo band to being like this metalcore band in like 2 songs. It's just so cool.
Don't get me wrong, I love Bless the Fall, but in that situation, definitely Dance.
Well, you kind of saying that sentiment or whatever. Do you think that that's because they went from like who's the guy's name? Craig Mabbitt to Bo?
I don't know because there's like, even on the newer records, there's like still a bit of a mix. So I don't know if it's like, I don't know. I don't really know what it is, but I enjoy it all the same, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I always have a weird thing about Bo though. I feel like he looks like, you know, the film Inside Out, that Disney film.
Yeah,
I feel like he looks like a character out of that film, and every time I see them like playing live, I can't get that out of my head. It's yeah.
That's funny. All right, so next question: meat eater or vegetarian?
Meat eater.
Meat eater. Yeah. Guilty as charged. 100%.
Well, I'm not shaming or anything like that. I myself am a vegetarian, but I mean, it's fairly new to me. I've been vegetarian for the past year, like solid, but even before then I tried, and there's this thing called flexitarian where you eat meat like certain days out of the week as opposed to all days out of the week. But so like what does it for you? Like chicken wings, steak, dinner?
I mean, like fair play to anyone that does it, like hats off. But like, I mean, our diet, especially when we're together, is just like KFC, McDonald's. Like there's no there's no, I don't think there's a functioning way that even if we really wanted to be, like if we were together, like one of us would be a bad influence on the other one. So just
So it's like out of convenience.
Convenience and the fact that like I personally prefer the taste of meat over veg. Like obviously you've got to have your veg, kids. You got to have your 5 veggies. But like, you know, I'd yeah. What about you, Kane?
Yeah, no, I'm like I'm like I want to go to every single restaurant possible and have a burger at every single restaurant and just rate which is the best. Like I'm like my steaks, my burgers. Not too much of a fan of chicken, to be honest.
What?
But, yeah,
that wasn't a chicken impression, by the way. That was me. Like what? Like
I have except from the boneless banquet at KFC.
Yes, bro.
That's okay.
Yeah.
That's okay. I'll take that. But yeah,
chicken wings, that used to break me, like when I was kind of going back and forth and stuff. It was always chicken wings. I don't know why, but American football is such a big thing, and that's always just calls for chicken wings for some reason.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I always got sucked into that shit. Do you guys did you guys used to hang out at bars a lot, or did you guys go out to eat a lot?
Yeah, man. I don't know what stories we can and can't tell.
We have so many stories.
Oh man, that's on you. I mean, you can say whatever you want. I mean,
what the last one I remember was the donut one, Kane. That's the last one. So we played a show with a band called 𝕾𝖎 from the UK, the pop punk band.
Yeah, Rome is awesome.
Yeah, man. They came to Blackpool where we live, and like no one comes to Blackpool, so this was like a massive thing for us. And we had this inflatable donut that we were meant to throw into the crowd at some point, but we never did. So it ended up we just forgot about it. Like it was just somewhere, like I can't remember. And then me and Kane were like having a night out afterwards, and all I vividly remember Kane in this donut, passed out, like just in the middle of the street, just like I'm trying to wake him up, and it's just like what? Like if I call for help, people are gonna think we're so strange. Like
I was sitting in that donut and I was like, I want to go to we have these like bars called like Walkabout, and like it's like a heavy metal bar called Tash, and I wanted to try and see how many of these bars where the bouncers would just let me in, and me and Alex walk up to Tash, and the bouncer doesn't even second guess it. He's just like, yeah, go up. Like,
didn't you end up putting a knife through it or something at one point? I don't remember what happened to it. It got pops at some point.
It got pops, yeah. I think it just deflated badly because I think I was just too fat.
Oh, shit. Were you underage at that time, or?
No, we were 19.
Yeah. 19. Yeah, it wasn't long ago. It was literally
it was last year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No shit. Well, how old are you guys, by the way?
I'm 20. You're 20. But Kane's birthday was like, was it yesterday, the day before? My memory's so bad.
Yesterday. Wait, no. Yes. It was 21st, so 2 days ago.
2 days ago. Yeah,
I'm 20 now.
Birthday boy.
Yeah. Oh, shit. Happy belated birthday.
Appreciate that, man. Cheers.
Yeah, man. That's awesome. Do you feel like you finally made it now that you're made it to the 20s?
I had a bit of a breakdown, to be honest. It was a bit weird going from 19 to 20 because I was like, I'm not a teenager anymore.
Yeah, it is fucking weird.
Yeah, for sure.
Because like your whole life, you're just like wanting to grow up, and then you get there, and you're like, "Why the fuck did I want this?" Yeah.
Just go back, please.
Yeah.
Sure.
It's kind of weird because I just turned 30, and it's just like, man, life just fucking shoots on by, especially when you're 20 and you just go through the motions of going to work and doing all the shit every day. Dude, it goes by so fast, and then you're just like, God damn, what happened? But anyway,
I remember when I turned 20, I was just like, if you think if you know my birthday, no, you don't. Like, I didn't turn 20. Like, that didn't happen. Like,
right. All right. So next question. All right. Motionless in White or I Prevail?
ooh.
Alex, do you want to go?
Not really. I don't know.
I'm going Motionless in White. I love both the bands, but Motionless in White 100%. That's what I grew up on. So
I think Motionless in White, just because their heavier sound is heavier than I Prevail's, in my opinion.
Right. Yeah.
Like, just even though like both bands are sick, I don't know like loads of both, but like,
right.
I think like, yeah, it's Motionless in White for me. They for me, they're more of a like a standout band, whereas I Prevail, you can sort of like, you can see different bands that are very, very similar to them.
Yeah.
Whereas Motionless are like kind of doing their own thing a little bit.
yeah, they're like you don't really see. I mean, I Prevail are brilliant, and I caught them at Download Festival, and they were so good. But again, it's what they do is like, it's metalcore, and it's like, obviously Motionless in White do that, but they've got a style to it. They've got a really unique style. And that's what,
Bro,
like,
I don't know if you still have him, but that guy that just played the keyboard when he used to play, just like, that just sets me off. Like,
oh yeah,
I love that.
I think it was their bassist too for me, because like their bassist like wore a skirt or something when I saw him. And I was just like, damn, like they just don't give a fuck. And I don't know, I like bands like that, like they just don't give a fuck, you know?
He used to wear like, he used to like properly doll himself up and wear like dresses and stuff. And honestly, he was like, he rocked it.
It was cool. Man. I was like, yeah, fuck it, dude. I like it when people are themselves. I mean, that's just some quality that you know you can't replace in all bands or whatever.
For real.
I would probably have to pick Motionless in White as well, even though I don't know that. Like, I couldn't name you like 10 Motionless in White songs, but based off seeing them live, they put on a fucking hell of a show. I caught them at their last tour in December.
You've got to tell the story, man. You just went to the wrong city.
Oh yeah! Oh my god! I completely forgot. So I got on the train from Blackpool, and what you have to do is you have to get to a certain town, and you got to change over from a place we call Preston, and that's just how the trains work. The big train station is in Preston, but instead I boarded the train to Liverpool. I was meant to go to Manchester, so I got to Liverpool, and I had to like straight up change over last minute.
Wow.
Missed. I think they're called Scold. I don't know if you heard of Scold.
No, I haven't. No.
And a band who were playing before them, but managed to get there just as Motionless in White got on stage.
Oh, that's sick. Yeah.
Yeah. So I timed it pretty well.
That's funny because when I went to my first show, I went with a buddy, and it was like a metal show, but I think it was Gwar actually. But I was like, dude, we're gonna be late because he told me it started at this time, but that's when the doors open, and I didn't realize this. And then of course when we walked in, like they just started their set, and it was like perfect timing. Yeah. But that's just funny that like for people that aren't on time going to shows, you're always on time. It's just it doesn't fucking matter.
So true.
All right, so watching sports or playing video games?
Playing video games.
Because then we just play FIFA.
yeah. We used to play video games. We still do, but we used to play video games every night with each other, like
every night.
Yeah, it was like in the first lockdown we had. we was like nights where we'd stay up till like 10 a.m. just playing video games, like
It was
12
mainly
hours straight.
It was like mainly Call of Duty Warzone and Minecraft. I think those were our like top two best.
Yeah, I've heard that like Minecraft is super fun, like when you play with a buddy and you guys build like a little town or some shit.
Yeah, well, like, it sounds like it is the most, like, I hate the fact that we've been talking about Minecraft on this podcast, but like,
whatever.
Like when you play it with like people that you know, a group, like, mate, like
you find the humor, you find the comedy of playing it. It's brilliant.
No, it's funny. And like on my podcast, I always want it to be like a safe space or like an open place to talk about shit you like, because if you like it, it's worth talking about, in my opinion. Like,
yeah, man.
I hate people that try to act too cool and just can't really be themselves. I mean, that's just who's that really helping? I
mean, I'll say this now. I feel like if we go on tour and I don't have my Xbox and Minecraft, I'm not going to survive. I'm not going to survive.
You need something.
Yeah.
Honestly, I quit playing video games. Like when I started this podcast, because like when you have too much shit going on, it's kind of hard to do everything.
Yeah, man.
I mean, I don't know if you guys have that similar approach now. Maybe you're more focused on music, or
it's much more. I think in nighttime, like I think it's much more. We work quite a bit during the day. I've just done some scheduling stuff. I've taken over doing that, and Alex used to be he's been doing that for a long time. So like, I think it's more of a anytime after 10 o'clock at night.
You try and get your work done whilst it's still like somewhat sunny, and then when it's dark, it's like
it's just me time, I guess.
Man.
I mean, there's a place for it, I'm sure. Like I could get back into it and just do it like when I'm like just totally just drained of doing anything else, because there's that time where you're just like, all right, I can't do anything productive right now, like I might as well just like veg out. All right. So anyway, most recently, have you checked out a new movie or a new TV show?
We've had a thing recently where we've been watching like the worst films we can possibly find. So like, we're all too stingy. Like we have a friend group that goes outside of the band and like has a bunch of people in it. And obviously we can't see each other at the minute. So we've been playing movies together, like saying like counting down and playing at the same time, but we're a bit too stingy to get like Amazon Prime or Netflix, so we've been finding like the worst films on YouTube. And it's just like so much better than watching a good film because they're so bad. Like
we watched
it's amazing.
Literally, we watched one the other day, and it was literally filmed on like an iPhone 5, and it was the funniest thing ever. And we were just like, I think the whole time we were just like, yeah, why is he doing that? Why is he?
Was that the Irish one? Was that
the one with the haunted like house that he went to? It was all on talk,
it was just all like, it was literally 90% of the film was just like a black screen with some guy walking through stuff, and it was just like I think it had 6% on Rotten Tomatoes on the internet. It was like, oh my god! Like
I think the most exciting part of it was when he got out the window and then struggled to light a cigarette. I think that's the only time we were kind of like, oh right, that's cool.
That's funny. Have you heard of a movie called Faces of Death?
No.
I think that's a movie. It's still on YouTube maybe, but like I remember being in high school and our friends like watched that because it was like it's very morbid, but basically it's a movie that shows like not just people dying, but like animals dying. It's like it's just really morbid and weird. And it used to be like this, there was this whole like lore around it back in the 70s, because it was just like, I think it came out maybe around that time, but it's fucked up because like, it'll show like people like this one instance of this guy like jumping off like a building and committing suicide. And it's just fucking strange. I don't know why I'm plugging this, but it's just one of those movies. I'm sure everyone has one of those movies on YouTube.
I know our friend James will really want to watch that.
Yeah. We have a friend that's like into all like not into that sort of stuff, but like you know what I mean.
Stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
He looks into stuff. Yeah.
We'll not mention that one too.
There's also a good show I don't know if you're into paranormal type stuff, but it's called A Haunting of. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's called A Haunting of, and it's basically like this medium, Kim Russo, and she goes in there with certain celebrities, and they like relive all these ghost stories that these famous people have been through. But it's fucking crazy if you're into like that kind of stuff, because like she'll like name their like grandparents who are dead by their name, whatever, and she just knows things that only that person would know. So it's fucking crazy. I don't know if it's fake. I don't know what it is. But
Yeah, that's my only fear with film, like things like that, is like if they like how do they know it? Is it more likely that they've had like an hour meeting before and you're like, this is the name of
I think I did watch a couple of episodes of that actually on Netflix. Is it on Netflix? I think it is.
Well, no, the show I mentioned, it's on YouTube.
Oh, right. Okay.
It's completely free. Yeah.
Right. I watched something that was like a psychic medium, and there were stories involved, and it sounds very familiar, to be honest. But I'll have to check it out. Yeah.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah,
so anyone who's listening, I'll probably drop those links in the description so you can check those out if you want to. But anyway, next question for you guys: better vocalist, Danny Worsnop or Denis Stoff? If you don't know
this conversation,
for anyone listening that doesn't know who Denis Stoff is, he's basically the vocalist who took over when Danny left, and he basically helped them with the Black album.
So Danny left, Denis joined, and then Denis left, and Danny came back.
Yeah.
Who you guys
I think for cleans, Danny's way better than Denis, but for like screams, Denis is a beast. Like I think Danny has lost his screaming because he doesn't really, I don't think he cares about it as much. Like if you heard the last two Asking records, like I'd take, if it was possible to merge them together, I'd do like Danny doing cleans and Denis doing screams. But I think for overall like performing and stuff, and I think if we're talking specifically Asking Alexandria, then Danny, like, when you think of Asking, you think Danny, like Danny is, like the face of it. So I think I'd have to say Danny, but like that doesn't mean that Denis is, What about you, Kane? You grew up with Asking.
I mean, like I say, Asking was like the first metal band that got me into like heavy music, like properly. So I've obviously followed up with Danny. But he's been in like We Are Harlot, and he's done his solo stuff, and I follow that stuff as well. And like his range from cleans is just insane. Yeah. Like he can go from doing country to like some like indie type rock stuff with We Are Harlot when he was with them, and he's obviously carried the band from being an insanely heavy vocalist to now being an arena band. Like you don't get better than that, really. So I mean, I'll always think Danny for Asking, but Denis is great as well.
Yeah, that's true. I wanted to say on the show that like the Black is like one of my favorite double
Black's a sick record. Yeah,
it's such a good record.
I don't know why some people throw shade on it, but it's like actually one of my favorites, so it's kind of funny.
I think the Black is potentially Asking's second best record after Stand Up and Scream. But
I want to say that too. Yeah,
but just because like Danny is the face of it, like. I mean, I feel like we're kind of throwing Denis under the bus a bit here, but like, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, like,
not really.
I full on look when Denis was in Down and Dirty, like, wow, that was insane. And then I followed him when he left Asking, because then he joined that another project that he did, but he's gone quiet again.
He released a new song, didn't he? Like not long ago,
possibly, on his own. Yeah, but Down and Dirty were amazing. Down and Dirty was so good. I think that was the band name.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
That's really cool. And I would say third, I actually did like, because I don't want to throw shade on like the newer Asking stuff, but I like their self-titled a lot. That felt like really promising. But I was kind of hoping that maybe this past one that they just did, I was hoping that was going to be a little bit heavier.
Yeah.
Like kind of how like Bring Me did, but I was hoping that they would kind of bring some screaming back, you know, because there's a little bit of screaming in the self-titled, but those songs were bangers.
Yeah, man.
Oh yeah. Yeah. It's one of those like really sour things. Like you obviously you love him for his old stuff, but like I mean you love him for his new stuff, but like you just wish there was like a little like pinch of salt of just that heaviness in the new album. But
yeah, it doesn't even have to be a lot. It could have just been like just a song or two or something.
I mean, hats off. They went from playing like O2 academies to arenas. Like fair play. Like you do that, you're sorted for life.
Yeah. So. I mean, yeah, I totally get it now. So which have you spent money on recently, alcohol or equipment?
Wow. Yeah.
To be fair,
equipment wise,
we've like definitely alcohol. But to be fair, like equipment wise, we kind of when we first started, like when Kane joined after last year, last year, wasn't it? Or is it 2019? I always think last year was 2019 because it was
2019. It was summer 2019.
Yeah. So in just after summer, just after we'd done like a bunch of gigs as like the new band, as it were, we kind of just went like, what do we need for like the next 5 years? And we just went out and bought it. So
cool.
We've not really bought anything recently. I mean, we've not really needed anything because we've not even seen each other. But I mean, I think it's alcohol for both of us.
Yeah, I think it is for sure. Yeah. I mean, Scooby Doo has been our best friend, to be honest, because that's what's been able to, be able to afford this kind of equipment. That we should be really thankful because some bands wouldn't be able to afford this kind of stuff. So we're quite thankful that even though it's a cover and all that, we're super thankful that that's what's given us our wages. So
and then it's then given us like the chance to like knuckle down. We're like, we know we're like okay for equipment. We know we're very close to like being full time in this, and then we can knuckle down and then do like the original stuff, like drop a pop punk song and then do a deathcore song like the next month. Like that's this. It's given us that freedom to be able to basically do whatever we want.
Yeah. And chill. I mean, let's talk about that for a second. That that way we can just talk about it now while it's brought up. But like, so like, what inspired the whole cover to that song, and like, why that song in particular?
So me and Kane weren't actually in the band at this point. So it was a case of I don't think the band had dropped anything until that point. And then it was Halloween. I know Davina and Deck were both brought up on like loads of Cartoon Network, Nickelodeon, that kind of thing. And it's just such a massive stroke of luck that they chose What's New Scooby Doo as the theme song, is like the cartoon thing that they wanted to do. And that happened not to be like Simple Plan's version didn't happen to be anywhere,
That's insane.
So it's like the smallest percentage chance of happening, but
that's fucking crazy. So like, I mean, do you guys feel like the one hit wonder band, or like has the other stuff gained a lot of attention as well?
I have a worry that people will see us that way, but then I think like we're 20 years old. We dropped a song on Friday and it's like 25k streams in. So it's like there's that thing that like we're still only like a young band, and if we're doing their numbers now, then I can't help but think that like in the future, if we keep pushing as hard as we are, like there's no reason why potentially Scooby Doo could be completely forgotten about,
Right.
Like
I mean, I think the biggest kind of wake up, because I was like, obviously Scooby Doo, like before the album was released, I think me and Alex were both kind of like we're worried that this is like going to be like the biggest, and like I mean, I think it always will. Like you can't really top 9 million, I don't think.
No,
I mean that's a lot.
But I think once, I mean now, like in this exact moment now. I think Grow Up's on about 75k, and that's kind of like, that's our single. That's our, me and Alex's basically proper debut single to the album. That's our opening song for the album. So it's kind of like, if that's on 75k of one song, and all the others have definitely, I think all of the others have surpassed 20k. Like, I'm just like, we can fucking do this. We can do this.
I mean, that's a lot. That's a lot.
Yeah.
And
I think the album overall's on 150,000 streams all time, and we haven't even dropped it yet. So I'm quite confident.
Yeah, I mean, I would be really confident. And like, from my point of view, because, you know, like I do a podcast. So like my thing is very niche because it only reaches the people that are into like metalcore and pop punk and stuff like that. So I end up doing like a lot of like reactions or whatever. So you see those all the time. And that's kind of what's helped me gain traction to like my original content. So like you always kind of have to have that like that thing that draws people into your original stuff. You know what I mean? So I don't think there's any shade it should be thrown on a cover, especially if it blows up. I mean, if you think about it, like you think about all the bands that are on like Pop Goes Punk records, and like no one, or not no one, but like a large percentage of the people that know them because they're on Pop Goes Punk. Yeah. There's not really any difference there, you know? I mean, to be fair, that's how I found like A Day to Remember, because that Kelly Clarkson.
Since you've been gone.
Yeah, since you've been gone, dude. I love that song. I like that song better than the original song.
Yeah.
I discovered Chunk No Caps and Chunk by their We Are Who We Are, by, you know, the Kesha cover.
Yeah.
That is a tune.
You did All Star as well.
Yeah,
that's honestly like my favorite stuff. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, it's just there's something to be said about like things that like kind of draw you in, and it has that replay value, and it just kind of keeps you coming back because it's so catchy. Like for some reason, catchy gets thrown into this like taboo like situation for some reason. It's like, oh, you're catchy, you're butt rock, you're terrible, you suck.
Yeah,
you sold out, whatever. Like, who gives a fuck? I mean, people have to make money in, you know, doing what they love to be able to supplement everything else in life. So
yeah, man,
I don't know. I just think that's really stupid, and I see that all the time. And you know, people are like,
I think it comes to that stage of elitism. Like,
oh yeah,
like if something's got one single clean lyric in it, it's like, oh, this is shit. But then someone else would be like, oh, it's got, I don't know, like it's got too many screens. It's like, it's all opinion, and it's like there's no way you can physically please everyone. So like it goes back to that point of being like doing your thing, you know, like I think that's like a recurring theme for anything to do with any kind of art form.
No, you're exactly right. Because I just did a reaction to like Ginger. I don't know how familiar you guys are with Ginger, but basically like they're one of their highest streamed music videos I reacted to. It was either Pisces live session or something like that. But anyway, it had a fuck ton of like dislikes, and I wanted to make a point and be like, look, even whatever it is, whatever you put out there, it could be the best thing in the world. It has over 41 million fucking plays, and you're still going to get 20,000 dislikes just because that's just the way it is. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, that's one thing that I think helps with us, because like we go from being such an extreme heavy to such an extreme soft. It's like, I don't think any of us actually care. If like, obviously we care if it gets streamed and how often it gets streamed, and if we can actually make this our career. But like, if someone, we get people that say this isn't heavy enough, and then we get people to say this is way too heavy. It's like, what do you want us to do? Like,
what do you want?
It's a tough one, but
okay, just do your own thing. Like,
all right, next question. Of Mice and Men or Miss May I?
Oh, go on, Alex. You go.
I'm a big fan of Of Mice and Men, but I'm very cautious of like the allegations going around. Obviously, their music's sick, like obviously, but you can't, if any of the allegations are true, then we can't speculate. But for music wise, like one of the first like metalcore songs I heard was "Burn Through" by 𝕾𝖍𝖎𝖓 𝕺𝖓. And then I came back to it a few years later when I was like into everything. I was like, I was sleeping on this song, like you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Yeah. I gotta say the same with you, Alex. Like, I mean, like OG Loco and Second and Sebring were like my like emo anthems. But again, like, I mean, even now of Mice and Men with the change of lineup, the bassist taking the vocals, they sound so good now. Like they've just gone from amazing to just amazing times too.
Yeah, man.
So yeah, I've got to say of Mice and Men.
Yeah, sick. And it's interesting. So like, what were you referring to as far as like the allegations?
So he was, what was his name? What was the old vocalist's name? I have completely forgotten.
Austin or
Austin Carlisle.
Yeah.
He was accused not long ago, but was it abuse allegations or something else?
I didn't know if it was that or just dating a minor, or
I think what it was he went away to a different country or something, and he did this, like, he got really spiritual. Obviously they've been a Christian band, but they were a Christian band when Austin was in the band, obviously, but I think something came up about it was either I think it may have been something of
I've remembered what it was now. It was a obviously this is all alleged and we don't know, but it was a rape allegation from someone. I remember. I remember speaking to someone about it. Yeah.
I remember that. Even know.
Yeah, it was about.
I remember that whole thing on Twitter.
Ago. Yeah, and I don't know if it ever got resolved or anything. I kind of just like kept my distance from it, you know.
Yeah. I don't know. It's interesting. Do you guys have TikTok?
Yeah.
All right, cool.
Yeah, we've just made a band one recently, actually. Yeah.
All right, cool. Like, yeah, I'm pretty active on there now. It's kind of funny because like I was like trying to stay away from TikTok for a long time, but then I was like, I don't know why, because it's not like it's a bad thing or whatever.
Yeah, man.
And I did this TikTok about bands getting canceled, and I didn't include them because I kind of forgot about it, but
it just seemed to have gone under the rug a little bit. Yeah,
kind of. And I think it's maybe because like Austin hasn't been with the band for a while. And they just recently got signed to Sharptone, and he has nothing to do with any of their, accolades as of recently. And
I mean, they came out like straight away and were just like, we don't agree with any of it, and we've only just heard about it. Like,
yeah.
So that's pretty interesting. But I think it's just kind of funny that like, like not you guys, but like just in general, like people decide to cancel the whole band. Because of one person's like miscues or whatever, because there's so many other moving parts to the band, and it's like a business in a sense, and like so many people rely on income.
I think the thing is that like people assume that everyone else would know in the band about it. Like, I was just hovering through Spotify the other day. And somehow came across Lost Prophets, from ages ago.
Oh, yeah.
But they still have like 100,000 monthly listeners. So it's obviously like, so some people can find it easy to distinguish, like, just because one member of the band was a dickhead. Like,
that was like, the thing is, that was with Lost Prophets, that was next level dark shit that went down.
Yeah, that was
like, that's not like something like, an allegedly thing. That was just absolutely.
I was surprised it was still like on there, to be honest. Like,
yeah, I'm surprised they weren't taken down. But like I say, that what you just said before, Seth, was like, with like, I don't know why they cancelled the whole band. It's like, I mean, some of the musicians were. I'm not sure. I don't know much about Lost Prophets, but like, you don't know the bassist's backstory or the drummer's backstory. Who knows what they could have been like? They could have been really nice guys. But it was a vocalist, wasn't it? I think.
Yeah, Ian Watkins.
Yeah. So it's kind of the same as, I understand where you're coming from, where not the full band, but the person in who's been accused. Definitely,
I think it's also the fact that if, like, especially in like 𝕾𝖎𝖎 In's case or Lost Prophets, like, because it is the front man, like if it was like the bass player, would people care as much? Because you don't necessarily, like, if you're just listening casually, you don't necessarily hear like all the bass tone, whereas like a massive part of the song is like like singing along to it and stuff, you know?
Yeah. Well, interesting that you said that, because the Ghost Inside, they got canceled. I remember it was last year or whatever, because they just dropped their Aftermath album, and I was like congratulating it when it dropped, and then people were like, no, they're canceled. And I was like, why are they canceled?
I didn't hear this one.
All right, so the bassist apparently said some racial slurs, and he ended up getting fired, and like, that whole thing got resolved. But in the same regard, there were a couple people on Twitter that like actually knew the band personally, and they were like, okay, well, that guy said it, but I know the fucking rest of you guys have said some fucking shit. And so it was like this whole sketchy situation with that band too. And I love that band. So I was like, okay, that's kind of, this is fucking, you know, in a weird gray area now, because
especially after the story that they've got after coming back from the crash and stuff as well.
Yeah, and it's just like now you got these people saying, well, actually the whole band, you guys have all kind of partaked in like this kind of racial slur shit. So I'm like, I don't know what to think about that kind of situation.
Yeah,
that was like you saying about 𝕾𝖎𝖎 Men. I completely forgot about that happened to the Ghost Inside. Like, yeah, but that was such a thing last year. I feel like that was such a 2020 thing to just start canceling motherfuckers. Yeah, like it happened to Attila as well, didn't it? Attila and
A
Day to Remember. I did.
But I mean, to be fair though, Franz is kind of like I mean, he seems like a cool guy and chill and stuff, but you know, he's kind of a dirtbag. I mean,
but I think like
remember, it's like I remember when all that went down, it was the bassist, and the bassist was like, I know it wasn't true, because the bassist came out with a statement being like, I will take any motherfucker to court to prove you're wrong. And I was like, no one would say that. I was like, okay, fair play, bro.
Yeah, I kind of hate that A Day to Remember is thrown into that whole bunch, because dude, I literally got into this type of music because of them, and like under
mate, who doesn't like A Day to Remember, man?
That's what I'm saying. Like, even if it was one guy, I'm still rocking with them, because it's like it's so nostalgic to me. Like,
sucks as well, because it's like the going, like, for example, we're going for A Day to Remember. You're trying to, like, these are people's like heroes.
Yeah.
And you're like basically just being like, oh yeah, they've done this, they've done that. Sometimes, like, half the time it's not even true, and it's like you're ruining like our childhood. Like,
yeah.
I mean, if it's obviously, if it's true, then like it needs to come out. But like when a lot of the I think 2020 was a case of we're all stuck at home. Like, as an individual, you fucked off. Who can you annoy? Like, or who can you try and bring down to that level, you know?
Yeah.
But obviously,
it was also like clout chasers like came out 2020. Like, so many fucking people just trying to be like, all right, this is my year because there ain't shit going on. I got a bunch of content. Let's go.
Yeah. Like, obviously, like, you're always going to side with the person that's been like abused or whatever if it's happened. Like, but a lot of the time it's like the evidence that's brought forward, especially in 2020, was kind of like, okay, like, you know, like, I don't know, it seemed very like, okay, who cares, you know, for a lot of it, like, or like the allegations would be big, but then it'd just be like, I just don't like him,
guys. Like, we've still got a virus to fight, you know.
Yeah, I think people forget about that, and I don't know, that may be a form of escapism for people to I don't know what the deal is, but anyway, that's an interesting take. Sorry we got off track here. Okay, it's time to take a fucking break. This week's hidden gem is gonna be Downward, the single by the band All Hours. All Hours is kind of like an easycore band, I guess, pop punk, whatever you want to call that. It's got some screaming, it's got some clean vocals, it's a whole lot of fun. This band, All Hours, is from Brisbane, Australia. This is a sick single. I actually found this band through Dreambound. I didn't see a whole lot of views on this, which is pretty crazy. Go support All Hours. This is such a sick song. And after that, we're going to play some Octopus Montage. We're going to play their latest release, Voices, which dropped February the 19th. I love their original content. Of course, Octopus Montage blew up with What's New Scooby-Doo, that whole cover song. But, okay, they're a lot more than just a cover band. We're going to play some music. Let's hang out. Stick around. You know the deal. We're back. I'm gonna kind of foreshorten these like icebreakers. I'm gonna ask a couple more, but I want to get to the bread and butter and asking you guys, personal questions, of course.
Cool.
All right, so this one's kind of funny. So let's do this one. Which sucks worse, playing in front of 10 people or someone slamming your music in the comments?
Playing in front of 10 people, because I think I find it hilarious when people try and slam us, because I think like this isn't like, as I said before, who cares? Like mate, if you don't like a band, don't listen to them.
Yeah.
Like
easy.
What difference is like putting in a comment and say like, oh, you fucking don't like, you're like, who, so what? Like it's also like the thing that I find funny, especially for like smaller bands like us, is like if you're going around on all these smaller bands pages and leaving loads of like hate comments on it, you're literally boosting their posts in the algorithm.
Yeah.
So it's like what like what are you going for here? Like it's so dumb. Like
yeah, like even if you hit a thumbs down, I mean you're still interacting with
man,
the art.
Like the worst thing you can do is just ignore it, you know?
Yeah.
Like yeah. And we've had plenty of shows where we played 10 people as well, so we're kind of used to that. Like from when we first started and stuff.
I mean, like I think like when we released Shortcut, someone said Alex looks really greasy, and me and Alex just laugh reacted it, and then I think we just put okay pal cheers.
Yeah, it's like if you can be like, I challenge anyone to be in front of like 3 massive lights in the middle of summer, like having to act like headbanging and stuff and not look slightly sweaty. Like if anyone can do that, like fair enough, but like
yeah, dude,
good fucking luck with it, like, because you know it's not happening. Like
no, I feel you, because like I have my soft lights because I have green screen obviously, so like I have all these lights, and during the summertime, dude, it's fucking hot. I'm sweating and I'm just sitting down.
Yeah, man,
get blasted by these lights.
I think we had 2 soft boxes and then 2 like proper big like industrial light things, and they were hot. Like we used them for recording the Right Here With Me video outside in the middle of winter, and they set on fire in the middle of winter. So like, you know, like they looked like Kane was literally having to like draft this like light out. It was just like
I think it wasn't as bad because we filmed Shortcut in the same place we filmed me and Alex's first music video, Now I'm Gone. But I think Now I'm Gone was way worse because that was like a 3-day thing, like a weekend thing. But like it was the hottest summer we've had, and there was nothing we could do to stop it. It was awful.
Like that was that video. I remember like as soon as cameras get turned off, just lying on the floor and just being like, what is going on? Like
all right, so I'm gonna ask this last one out of the icebreakers. So which is cringier to you? All right, that one guy trying to crowd kill at the show where there's like 10 people at, or the people who wear the band shirt to the band that they're going to see?
The crowd killer.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily see much wrong with wearing the band shirt of the band you're going to see.
Yeah, I kind of that's why I threw that in there. I wanted to have this conversation with other like people. Well, anyway, there's like 2 things I want to get to before we like jump into other shit. But like, all right, so a metalcore fan, are you called a metalhead, or is this something totally different?
I think, especially for people that are like thrash people, I think they'd get very, very upset if you called people that like core stuff like metalhead. I think you are like, I think people would just refer to it more as like a scene kid or something, just to be more sort of I don't know, into genres. But like it's one of them things, like who really cares? Like, you know, like you like heavy metal, it's just a different variant of it, you know.
Yeah, I'm the same. I'm like you said with the question, don't get me wrong, like I love I go to the shows and like I get as many two steps in as possible, but it's when crowd killers start going for people that it annoys me. Like when people go to deliberately hit people, that's kind of where you're like, that's just borderline abuse at a show, and that shouldn't be on. If you're in your own little bubble of throwing your hands around, do you, mate, but don't involve other people who don't want to be involved in it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's how I see it.
To get back to that whole like metalhead thing, like I was just curious because, for like my reactions or whatever, like in the title, I usually put like, I don't know, at one point I was putting like metalhead reacts or something like that, because it's just like, I don't really know what to call a metalcore head or whatever, whatever that means. And like, for some reason, like we were talking about, like people get really offended when you say like metalhead and you're referring to core music for some reason. So I'm like, what do you even call that person who is like such a fan of like metalcore? Like what word is okay?
I've also just noticed, I think me and Kane have got the same issue here, because I need to grab my charger for my phone as well.
My phone,
do what you gotta do. Yeah.
I'm just gonna go and grab Kane, be entertaining, because
Yeah, man. Yeah, I'll answer that. So what were we saying about? Yeah, I think it's mainly metalheads. We get called metalheads. I think that's just the main one, really.
Yeah.
I think that's just it. We don't really have. We have like so many different labels. Like we have the core kids, the metalheads, the beatdown kids. We're like it's a bunch of people. Like, but yeah, that's metalhead for anyone who listens to heavy stuff.
Yeah, that's how I feel about it as well. But like kind of going back to the crowd killing thing. So like I did a TikTok the other day, and it was basically like I've been trying to like relive like all these show moments that happened to me, because there's a lot of them and they're funny. And I mean, one of them was like I went to the show and there was like 9 people there, and there's one guy like trying to mosh, and it was like the same guy who kept like I was facing forward and I was like towards the front, and he just kept like kind of hitting me in the back, and I was just like, this motherfucker, like, dude, there's like, you're the only guy trying to make this happen right now. Like there's fucking 9 people here and you're just like keep butting into me. And I was just like, at this point, like, I don't feel like you should, like, I don't know, do what you gotta do, but
it just really makes people uncomfortable. Like,
I mean, I remember we played a show. We were playing alongside Shapes and Envisions, and there was like, this venue was tiny, like maybe in the pit area, maybe like 20 people there.
Yeah.
And there was like this girl, she was only like maybe 16 or something. And then there's this guy like built like a fucking WWE wrestler. And like, he's just like clean knocks her teeth out. And I was just like, jeez, what are you doing? Like,
is she the one who had to go, an ambulance come down?
Yeah, mum.
Oh, I didn't even remember that story until you just said it. That's mental.
Yeah, it was awful. Like, I'm pretty sure she lost like 2 teeth from that as well. Like,
fuck.
It's just it's not fair. If you go to a Not Loose show or a dealer show, though, people do that, and that's because it's like, that kind of music. But if you're going, like, Shapes aren't even like a slam or beat down band, so
but even if you go to a Not Loose or dealer show, if you're not in the pit, you
shouldn't be involved. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's so fucked. Anyway, I wanted to get off that, and I know we've been kind of having fun with these icebreakers, but I wanted to get around to asking you guys some personal questions or whatever. Sure. So like, how has everything been going now? Obviously you guys are locked down and stuff like that, but like, how's everything been going here lately for you guys?
I mean, I always try and just live like day to day, like we've recently shared the workload in the band a lot. So like Kay mentioned before, doing scheduling and stuff, which has made like me personally have a bit more time on my hands. And it's just like starting to like think about like when we come out of this situation eventually, like hopefully one day we won't be like not allowed to leave our houses or whatever, but like how how do you use this time where we're stuck indoors to like have like make the most of it, you know? Like, I mean, we are talking before about like when me and Kane was together, like only eating like fast food and stuff. I've been trying to like eat a little bit healthier and stuff, like that kind of thing. Just like little improvements, just to like, so when we do get back to what we're doing, potentially like it won't be as tiring, you know, like touring and that kind of thing.
Yeah, that's pretty interesting. It's so weird because, you know, you put all your stock into playing shows and doing this sort of thing. And then, you know, when something like this happens, the virus, it just kind of messes up the whole nuance of like being able to go on tour and other things that you look forward to, like as a, you know, releasing artist or whatever.
Yeah.
So like what kind of things have you guys tried to do like as a band to cope with the times or whatever?
I mean, to be fair, like I think us being stuck inside has somewhat been a blessing for us, because we were working on this record that we got coming out. Like the first song, when we first like decided let's like knuckle down, I remember writing the song that's just come out, Voices. I wrote that in like summer 2019, like, and we weren't at a stage where we were ready to release it like at the start of last year. So if we hadn't have had to that time where we stay at home, where we have all the equipment at home, then I don't think we'd be releasing music at this point.
Right.
So I'd argue that, like, obviously the entire thing is shit, like it sucks, but I think it has worked in our favor a little bit in terms of releasing stuff, you know?
Yeah, that makes sense. And like, what do you guys think about the people that basically didn't like put out anything last year because they were just like, oh, well, it's like COVID and stuff like that. So like, you know, what's your opinion of the people who were like kind of holding out last year and didn't release anything?
I mean, I understand it. Like, I think last year, I think what helps is the fact that we were already halfway through, like, doing something. I understand why people wouldn't, like, not everyone has the equipment, like, in their houses, which is obviously a big thing to, like, recording and stuff. But I think if you've got the stuff that you need and you've had, like, 6 months at home, you've just got to start thinking, like, is there either, like, a commitment issue there, or is, like, you know, are you doing this so you can get like a cool photo on your Instagram when you play live, or like are you doing this to get like a career out of it? And I think that's where the main questions would start to be asked to them people. Like, it's cool if you're just doing it as like a hobby, but there's got to be like, you know, you start to question like the commitment of a band if they're, you know, not taking like every opportunity they get. Right.
Like if you're not willing to like kind of work through any kind of hurdle or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, like, I'd argue it's not even a hurdle. Like, if you're stuck at home with recording equipment, you know?
Yeah, why not? That's interesting. So, like, you know, something I really want to know from, you know, a lot of the people I talk to, for some reason, I've never asked this question, but like, what type of a home life did you guys have growing up? And like, what kind of an influence did that have on like the music that you enjoy now?
I feel like I've started talking for all the questions, so I'll let Kane start this one.
Oh, yeah. So I was raised by just my mum, and she was like, she's been like there for me, like full stop, like it's never ended. And like, I think she's the one who really got me into kind of alternative kind of music. It wasn't like majorly heavy. Like the stuff I listen to now kind of freaks my mum out a bit because it's like, you know, some stuff like Dealer and Whitechapel, and she's like, you know, but she used to really love Paramore and Mallory Knox and bands like that.
Oh, cool.
So she took me to a few festivals in Leeds and stuff, and I remember seeing Mallory Knox play and being like, my dream one day is to be able to play with that band. And my first gig with Octopus Montage was playing with that band. So, but yeah, no, I've had quite a good life. Like growing up with my mum's kind of like just growing up with like your best mate, because she's just been like super supportive, and it's been great. Yeah, it's just like that's how it is. I through high school, because I met Alex in primary school. Funnily enough, I met Alex in primary school last year, I think it was. The last year of primary school, sorry. And then we didn't speak all through high school because we didn't go to the same high school. But yeah, I mean, I struggled with a few things. I mean, we all have, you know, demons and stuff, but overall, like, I've had a good upbringing with, you know, my mum, my grandma, and my granddad. So yeah, all in all, she's properly got me into alternative type of music, and I think from there, meeting friends who kind of like that kind of stuff, them introducing me to more bands, me getting a bit more knowledge into what metal, like how big the metal genre actually stretches out to.
Yeah.
And then eventually, now I'm here. So, but yeah.
For me, I'm lucky enough to grow up with both my mum and dad being together. And my dad's like an old school, like metalish guy, like bands like Black Sabbath, Skid Row, you know, like that kind of thing.
Right.
So I grew up like listening, like 4-year-old me bopping to like Black Sabbath in the car on the way to school, you know, like that's like how I was brought up. And then me and Kane met when we were 10-year-old, something like that. And I'm like, there's no bones about it. Like, I hated Kane when I first met him when I was 10. Like, I thought he was such an annoying little shit, man. Like, I mean, not much of that has changed, but like, I can deal with it now, you know. And then, you know, as Kane, I think everyone in the band had like demons and stuff to deal with. Like, it's something that we push out through music, but we don't want to make a personality of, you know. And I think, especially, from people in our generation, like in my high school at least, I don't think I really know of anyone that didn't have like any kind of issues, so to speak. Like, I think part of like me and Kane's generation is like, he's just plagued with something, and I've not like figured out what it is yet. But I don't know if it's something to do with like people growing up or whatever, but obviously that's had like, I think that had an impact on us, or at least I know it had an impact on me songwriting, like my perspective in songwriting and stuff. But other than that, like, everyone has shit to deal with, you know, like, I don't think I could have had a better upbringing personally. And with I think the music's just an added extra, like, you know, with like the stuff that we listen to. Like, I remember like going into school and my friends would be like talking about, I don't know, JLS or something. I'd be like, yeah, but have you heard of like Aerosmith? Like, have you heard of them? Like, they're quite cool. And to be fair, I always felt like kind of out of place with the music stuff. And then when you reach teenage years and you start learning about like what music you're really into, and then you meet people like, you know, when me and Kane met a few years later after, you know, I realised that he was still a really annoying guy, but I can sort of deal with it. That it's like quite cool that you can bond with people over that kind of thing, you know?
Yeah, definitely.
Going back to that, like, oh god, sorry.
No, I was just saying that's interesting.
I was just saying, going back to that, like, I think because me and Alex grew up quite alternative and stuff, like, I don't know if Alex, I haven't really spoke to Alex about his high school life much, but like, obviously being alternative, you don't fit in with the preppy, you know, the kids who want to be football Premier League players and stuff. So I spent quite a lot of, and this is another funny story. My best friend in high school was Davina, and she's our bassist. And I met her in high school, and she was exactly like me. We were both quite alternative, and we stayed away from everyone. So, but yeah, I mean, it's like that. Like, also with Alex saying the music has changed, I was like, I'm grateful. Like, every second of the day, I'm grateful because I received a message from Davina one day being like, do you still play drums and stuff? And if I had said like, if
Can
that
I just
day
interrupt
didn't
that message? That wasn't the message that got sent to him. The exact message that got sent to him was, "Are you still shit at playing drums?" But I'll let you get back to. I'll get back. Like, let you get back to the story.
No, it was that actually. Yeah. So every single day. I don't think there's a day that goes by that I don't think about that specific day of getting that message, because I don't know where I'd be if I didn't have the band. Like, this is the best thing I think that's ever happened. Like, and I say that as if like I'm saying that for the sake of it, but I can't think of anything that's topped this at all. Being able to go around England, see new like places, meet new people is the most beautiful thing you could ask for. And hopefully soon it'll be expanded into like Europe and America, and that's all I dream of. I just want to travel the world. That is everything to me. So every single day I'm grateful for that, I think.
Yeah. It's kind of weird how... Sorry, man.
No, you're good.
It's kind of weird how... Sorry, go on. You go.
No, I'm just saying it's dope. Like, I'm literally just adding shit commentary to this. I'm trying to hear you guys out and like just really take it in.
Yeah.
I mean, it's weird how our paths cross. Like, obviously, Deck and Davina are brother and sister. Then Deck and Davina and Kane went to the same high school. I'd met Kane in primary school. And then we just weirdly end up in a band together, you know? Like,
it's weird. It's not like...
I wanted to like... No, my bad. I wasn't trying to segue too soon, but like, I wanted to know like where, like, you know, everyone at lunch or whatever tend to sit at a certain section. Like what, like who did you sit with at lunch? And like,
I had my own little group. Like me and Kay knows a lot of my friends from like high school now, but we had this group of like just misfit people. Like the people that listen to this that are from the UK will know a show called The In-Betweeners. And my friend group was like the epitome of the in-betweeners. It was like we were all just like, there was no other kid that like listened to like the same music that I did, but there was some people that were like super into like maths and stuff and science. But the thing that got us together was like we all had this really weird sense of humor. Like we'd all like, there'd be like, I don't know how to explain it, but like there'd be like something would happen in school and we'd manage to find like the most warped way to make a joke out of it. Like, and it'd bring like so many different people together in a weird way. Like there was me in the corner, like listening to whatever. And then someone in my same group that's like, going to science class that night, you know, like it's just like there's nerds and people. Like my friend group was just weird, like, but in a really good way. Like, super mischievous as well. We got kicked out of a canteen once, like 7 times in a week. Like,
like I said with Davina, it was only Davina and I hung out, but we had this strict rule at our high school was you can't actually leave the canteen if you're eating. So what we'd used to do is this is a funny story. We used to got our food and we'd go through the emergency exit and then just go like through the fields, and then we'd hide behind the back and just eat and just talk, because everyone in the canteen would just be like, just staring at us and be like, "Goss, goss, goss." I was like, "What?" So we'd just bend and break the rules a bit and go and do our own thing, because I guess we didn't fit into the normal, I guess it was called.
Right.
So yeah.
No, that's interesting. And this is a question I wanted to start asking on the show, because I feel like a lot of, you know, where your taste comes from obviously is like when you're a teenager, you're in high school, and you kind of stem from that and the experiences that you cultivate over the years being in high school. And it's kind of funny because like I missed the whole high school. I wasn't really like a scene person until I got out of high school, because like the high school I was at, it was just very closed-minded. There was only a certain, different subsects or whatever, different parties that hung out. And it was a lot more general, and it wasn't so like niche. So like I didn't get into like heavier type music until I actually got out. I think it was like 2009, which is the year I graduated, which is when I checked out like A Day to Remember. And
it's
like Silver State.
To me, man. Like I was listening to like grunge all the way through high school. Bits of like Rage Against the Machine and stuff like that. And then I was in college and I was like, this screamo stuff's quite good. Like, it's been,
Yeah, it was definitely after I left, because I didn't ever encounter anyone that like kind of listened to this type of stuff. And like as I went through like a punk phase. I remember that, but I remember it was just like because like Sublime was like such a huge like band in my life, and then that got me into like Green Day and like Pennywise and Bad Religion, and then I kind of went more punk before I got into like super heavy shit.
Yeah, I think everyone has like a band started on and then that got into something else, then got them to something else that got them here.
Yeah.
Like for me, it was like the Gunny stuff, like Nirvana and Soundgarden and stuff, and then through Audio Slave, so Soundgarden and Rage Against the Machine together got me into Rage Against the Machine, which then hit me into metal stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, like I was very much going down the sort of, I don't know, sort of 90s music route, like not really a heavy route, and then we ended up here. Like,
no, that's so true because Chevelle was that band that kind of got me into like heavier shit and like Audio Slave and shit like that. But anyway, what were you saying, Kane?
Oh yeah, I was just saying, like, to graduate in 09, like the metalcore was peaking at 2009. So that must have been amazing.
Because then I got in right after A Day to Remember, I got into Asking Alexandria.
Yeah,
and I was on
Stand Up and Scream.
Yeah, and then I was on Bring Me Super Hard, Suicide Season. I remember that's the year I got into Bring Me. And then from there, man, it just took off. Like, the rest follows. Like, I think after, it was kind of funny because like later on, I got into Slipknot as opposed to like 08 or 09. It wasn't until like 2015 or something like that. It was something ridiculous, but it took me a long time before I got into Slipknot because I don't know why, but it had this like stigma of like, you don't want to listen to Slipknot for some reason. But even though like they were one of the main influencers in this whole like core thing, in my opinion, like metalcore.
Yeah,
I mean, like if you release like Iowa or the original like self-titled Slipknot record, like now, like that record that they still like hold up. Like there's still people out there that like aren't anywhere near as good as them. Like what 20-year-old records, like mad, man.
And you gotta think when that shit dropped, that was like the Lorna Shore of like that time. You know what I mean? Like that was like, oh, like you don't want to fucking touch Slipknot because
I mean, what like 99 was the first record, wasn't it? So it's like what the heaviest stuff up till then was like maybe Korn.
Yeah,
like, even that Korn, like 20-year-old albums can stand up to most albums being released to this day.
It's funny because like I didn't discover death metal until like after I discovered all these like metalcore bands because I was like, where does all this shit really come from? But like you didn't hear about like, well, I didn't hear about like Cannibal Corpse and Deicide and all these bands until like I was like 20 something. Like just didn't hear about it in my small town. Like no one talked about those bands.
Yeah, well, you said about like Lorna Shore before. Like I only started listening to Lorna Shore like probably like summer of 2020, and like I was like, and it's funny because you listen to this stuff and you're like, what have I been missing out on? Like this is insane. I think some of the stuff that CJ can make is just insane.
Hey, even going back to like the Tom Barber era, man. Like
he's
real. Godmaker by Lorna Shore is the song that introduced me to deathcore. Like
Chelsea Grin got me into deathcore. Like Recreant was like one of my favorite songs, even though I feel like I'm not throwing shade at Alex, but like that vocally it's kind of shit. Like it's not that great, and it's still such a good song to me. I don't know why.
It's that breakdown at the end, isn't it? I think that gets everyone hyped.
I think objectively is what I was trying to say. Objectively the vocals are shit, but like,
man,
they weren't that bad. It was very like, it's kind of like how Knocked Loose is for a lot of people. Like you either like that shit or you just like, you can't listen to that guy sing or scream or whatever.
I mean, his vocals are so unique. Like,
But anyway,
if he ever left Not Loose can't recover from that. Like,
that's just like one of those things.
I think that just makes him stand out though as a band, like because he's got such a unique screaming voice. Like you can tell him apart from any other band. Ryan's amazing. So
But anyway, I feel bad because like we've been kind of shooting the shit here, but like we haven't really talked about your band a whole lot. But let's talk about that before we end.
I mean, we
up
talked
heading
about
out.
like loads of better bands than us anyway, so it's fine. Like,
Well, don't say
go listen to
that.
them instead, man.
Well, anyway, I mean, honestly, though, like a lot of the people that listen to these podcasts, involving their favorite band or a band that they have on the radar, I think it's the whole sentiment of like getting to know these people on a more personal level. Cause like, you know, somebody who's a fan who listens to this and they're like, dude, I like all this stuff that you're saying about this band. Like, this is going to build that connection. You know what I'm saying? Like, it kind of makes you a little bit more, of a person as opposed to like just a picture on Instagram, you know.
That's why we've been trying to upload more content on YouTube and stuff. Like, because like a few weeks ago, me and Kane just did a video on FIFA, like nothing to do with music, but it's just like it gives you an insight of just some of the shit that we talk to each other, like when we're in a call, you know. Like, we've been considering doing like when things get back together, you know, like where we can meet each other and stuff, you know, things like sort of doing cooking challenges for each other, like making food, and it's just like got nothing to do with music, but it's like building that connection, because we're 20-year-old kids from Blackpool. Like, we don't want people to think that we think we're any bigger than anyone else. Like, if anything, people that put up with us and listen to us are way bigger people than we can ever be, because like I can barely put up with me, so if they can put up with hearing all four of us on my playlist every day, like, props to them, man. Like,
and like kind of going off of that, but like, you know, this whole podcast thing, like when I first started, I used to be so structured, and I remember my first couple ones, like I had specific questions that I would ask, like kind of in order, and it was kind of weird because it's like that's not even close to how a conversation rolls. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you don't talk like you're like, okay, this and then now we hit on this, because then it's just like everywhere. But like, you know, a true conversation is just kind of just it just flows. Yeah, and you kind of go off of what each other says and stuff like that. So like, I don't know. I just feel like my better podcasts have been the ones where we just fucking shoot the breeze and talk about whatever the fuck is going on.
I mean, it's more natural that way, isn't it? Like,
yeah, it really is. That's something I've learned, you know, as a content creator. I don't know if you guys like, you know, try to make personal content or whatever, but you know, the best thing they say is to just be yourself and shit like that. So like, I always just try to be who I am and not try to sugarcoat shit. And you know, I would do this regardless. Like, I really don't give a fuck if this goes anywhere or not. Like, it's really just for me, and I like networking and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like, outside of this, like, I'm a chef, so I'm like, well, if this podcast thing doesn't take off, your boy's buying a food truck, and you know, I would like to ultimately own like a venue, and it would just be cool. And that's kind of like why I network, because it's like I want to be able to, like, you know, fill that venue and like have different bands and just shoot the shit.
Yeah.
And it's like, hey, if you guys come through, you get a free meal and a place to stay. So like, who's gonna say no to that? You know?
No, that sounds cool. Like, yeah, man.
But anyway, like, do you guys think about that kind of often? Like, what would you do? Like, say, you know, unfortunately, if this band thing didn't really like pop off for you, like, what would you want to do, I guess?
I mean, I'm just thinking about it. Me and Deck, the other singer, we co-own a clothing brand together. So that's one of the avenues that we've gone down to sort of have like for me, it was, I took a lot of inspiration from funds from 𝕾𝖍𝖎, because if you look at his like revenue streams, 𝕾𝖍𝖎's like at the bottom. Like, he has like 10 revenue streams. Like, if we, like, my goal was to have like a bunch of different revenue streams. So if I didn't make enough money from music or clothes or whatever, it all adds up, you know. Like,
that's sick, dude. What's your clothing brand, so everyone knows?
We're called Chasing Ghosts. We've had a bit of a dry time on social media at the minute, but that's because like the postal system in our country at the minute is so screwed.
Oh, I'm
like,
sure.
We've had orders that we've sent like 2 or 3 times to people in like December that still haven't arrived or just arrived, and it's like, we don't want to keep like looking like we're promoting stuff and then not sending it,
right?
You know, like it's been so hard to like keep up with, like, we're messaging people being like, it is coming, like, we're not scamming you, like, it's on its way. We just don't know where it is. Like, So we're looking into like tracked parcels and stuff. So as soon as we've kind of got that, we'll be, come back swinging and stuff.
That's so cool, dude. Kind of going off that, I've actually started, me and my wife are trying to start our own, like, kind of like a thrift store, not a thrift store, but like, I'm calling it hipster yard sale instead of like doing merch for my brand. Cause I just don't really I don't think anyone's going to buy a shirt with like my merch logo on it or whatever, or like my, podcast logo on it. So it's kind of silly, but I wanted to start like a store, and basically in the store is like all used goods, like whether it be like old merch, like I have some plugs on like vintage, like hardcore t-shirts and stuff like that, and just random shit, like designer pants or whatever, just whatever I can come up with, and just selling that shit like in a thrift store environment, like a cosmetic store, or not.
I mean, that'd be. Are you talking like getting hold of like old vintage merch and stuff, like?
Yeah, stuff like that. Maybe some old Vans that are slightly worn.
Yeah, I think like niche bands and stuff would go down well with that as well. Like,
yeah, because like I have a bunch of old like band shirts that I don't mind like parting with, and like people like that shit. Like people, especially people that aren't very into it and they don't have like a Bring Me the Horizon shirt. Hey, maybe after this fucking album they want to bring me a shirt and they can buy one off the site. Yeah,
there's a band called 𝕾𝖎 that Kane will know my strong emotional connection to, and like. They split up 4 years ago, and like I scoured everywhere on the internet, and I managed to get hold of like 2 shirts that are like basically done. Like you wouldn't wear them, but it's just the fact that you can't get them. You just have them for the sake of it, and like that's kind of cool for what you're saying. I think that would be like why people would come to you and stuff. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Hopefully by the time this comes out, hopefully I have a link in the description for you, but I want to drop that as soon as possible. Like I'm taking all these pictures now, and like I have all these like studio lights and stuff like that, so I've been trying to like take really good pictures and be as descriptive as possible. But my descriptions are going to be stupid, like wore these shoes once, thought they were cool, there you go. Like they're not going to be very, they're just going to be my honest description. I'll be like, well, poured paint on them, kind of sucks, but here's a picture of that. Whatever. But anyway, I don't want to take up too much of your guys' time and stuff like that. But like let's talk about some band stuff before we leave, because I feel bad because we haven't really talked about anything about Octopus Montage. But what have you guys been working on lately? And like what is something that we can expect to see very soon?
We started every single we dropped since September is coming off our new record, which is out April 2nd, digitally, and we will probably print it for like physical people. So that's coming up in April, and then we have one single coming out in March, so just before the album comes out, and then so there's a single, then the album, and then we've already started writing for like our next lot of releases. Hopefully by then we can start announcing like tour dates and stuff. Awesome. We have got a festival lineup to share soon. So it's just hopefully we're planning to sort of not stop releasing music really. Like we're going to be doing a video for all of the songs on the album that aren't singles as such anyway. So there's going to be loads of content coming like musically. And then we're also planning on sort of releasing a video once a week on YouTube, just us like fucking around, Mm-hmm. So, I mean, if you want to see more of our like ugly faces, like there's going to be plenty of it, like.
What's up with the TikTok? You guys very active on it? Like you guys post a lot to TikTok?
We've got a schedule coming to do it. We've got so many ideas. It's just like, we've got Dex doing it, and Dex like today he's been sorting out the video shoot for the next single, so he's like his schedule's like mad, but he's like insistent that he wants to do it, so we're just like okay, like, but we know that, like as soon as he gets on it, like there'll be one every single day. It's just until it gets to that point,
He wanted to do it. He told me today he was going to do these like emo vocal covers, or like try and hit this note kind of TikTok type thing, so that'll be cool to see. So
do you guys have one like for your like personal self?
I have a personal one.
I think we all have TikTok, but we don't really post on it. We just have it for some of the comedy side of TikTok is the funniest.
Yeah.
If you get the right kind of category, like the dark humor, the funny side, it can be the funniest thing you've ever seen. It's incredible.
I've been thinking of doing some like of my own TikToks, but it's not something I got to yet. But
you should do some, dude. Like, and they don't take very long. Like, I did one like waiting on my car to get serviced and stuff like that.
I saw that one, yeah, the Attila one.
Yeah, and it's just like I'll do one randomly, and I don't know. When I first started, I started listening a month ago, but every time I like skim through it or whatever, I see a lot of people that post with like minimal effort, and I'm like, why the fuck not? You know, like, and then the ones that I put the most like minimal time in, those do like so well. So I'm like, you know, literally it can take like less than a minute out of your day and just do it. And like, I'm telling you, like that shit goes so fast on there. Like, I don't know what the outreach like algorithm is, but so many people end up seeing your TikTok. It's crazy.
Me and Alex did some banging TikToks like back at the Rome show specifically. That was our favorite night for TikToks, and
it was nothing
the night we
serious.
discovered how to use it.
Yeah, it was like we'd only just downloaded it. This is like beginning of 2020.
Yeah.
We just downloaded it, and we were drunk, so drunk after the Rome show. It was like 5 a.m. We're in my front room, just fucking around with filters and stuff. It's like, like I hope no one finds them after watching this podcast, because like we will not look like a credible band in the slightest.
Like some of your single videos, some of my single videos of like I did a bottle lotion video, and it was the stupidest thing that I think's still up. But yeah, it's like there's this like filter, and it makes your face, it condenses your face or something.
Yeah.
And it gives you like a really deep kind of kid type voice. And we were like,
I know what you mean now.
That's so
it was back when the mummy TikToks were going around. You know, we'd like a kid would go into a mum's room and wake them up
at 4 a.m. and be like, I've wept the bed.
Yeah.
But like when you're drunk, like that's the funniest thing, like, you know.
Yeah. That's so good. That's so good.
Yeah.
Well, I challenge you guys this week. Do some TikToks, do some personal ones, do some ones on your personal shit, and add me and I'll add you back. That's what I'm gonna do for like the next month. If you add me or you follow me, I'm following you back, because I don't give 5 fucks about how many numbers or whatever the fuck people are concerned about. I don't really care. So
yeah, man.
No problem.
Hit me, I'll hit you back. So anyway, is there anything that you guys want to say about the band? Anything you want to plug before we head out?
We're like, look at Kane. Like, if you want to see more of his face, listen to us. Like, look at that. Like, you're telling me that you don't want to look at more of that when we're doing music videos. Like, look at that face, man. Like, no, we appreciate you asking us on.
Also, look at that face, Alex.
But we're just like, we like heavy stuff. We like soft stuff. So we just throw it together and see what happens, I
think just the last thing to say before we go is stream the album when it comes out. April the why do I not know this? 2nd? Yes, I totally know that. April the 2nd, yeah. So yeah, mark the dates.
All right, sick. All right, so that was a portion of Octopus Montage. You had Alex and Kane. Go check out their latest release, Voices. Thanks again for being on the show. Let me know if there's anything I could do for you guys.
Shit, man. Same here, man. We'll throw this on our socials when it comes out and stuff, yeah.
All right, sick. All right, have a good one. Okay, that pretty much does it for today's show. Thank you so much. If you made it this far, you're a fucking real one, and I really do appreciate you. Of course, before you leave, please like the video if you're watching the video. Hit subscribe or follow if you're listening on a podcast platform. But any type of sharing, it really goes a long way, because all these podcast platforms and stuff like that, they do a terrible job of promoting new shows and shows that no one's really ever heard about. So if you could do that, that would be fucking sick. You can also support the show. There is a link below. It's through Anchor. If you want to donate some shit, there it is. You can do that. Anyway, don't forget also, you can email the podcast. And the email address is nativeddiamondmusic@gmail.com. There you can send me all your song submissions if you're trying to hit that hidden gem section. You can also just tell me stuff about the show or whatever you want to inquire about. Or, you know, if you want to be on the podcast, holla at your boy. Okay, email me. I'll try to read all those emails. But anyway, I mean, just thank you so much. And as we're heading out, I'm going to play Octopus Montage. We're going to play some more. You thought it was over? No. I'm going to play one more song before we head out. Check out Grow Up by Octopus Montage. Thanks again, guys. Stay positive out there, okay? Whatever you do, if you're having a tough time, just know that things tend to always get better, and I hope they get better for you. If you need a friend, you always have a friend here with Native Diamond, okay? Love each other. Go kick ass this week. Do what you gotta do. Don't take shit from anyone. You already know the deal. Till next time.
It's a mix of caffeine and sleeping pills. These late nights do me harm. Now I'm done. It's a blend of coffee and medicine. And staring at these walls, I'm gone, so gone. But I'm more than that. I'm more than you'll ever be. I'm more than speculation. I'm more than your jealousy. They say grow up, but I'm getting better. I listen to the same songs that I did 5 years ago. They say grow up, but I'm only human, still staring at the night sky, looking for the afterglow. You're a blend of arrogance and ignorance. I don't think that'll ever change. You're done, so done. Stay stagnant and deal with it, because things won't stay the same. You're done, stay gone. But I'm more than that. I'm more than you'll ever be. I'm more than speculation. I'm more than your jealousy. They say grow up, but I'm getting better. I listen to the same songs that I did 5 years ago. They say grow up, but I'm only human, still staring at the night sky, looking for the afterglow. Go fuck yourself. Should never be like to me. You notice that from the start of everything. She knows what I wait because we say your necessary. Don't believe me. Look at everything. You should have what you for mistake. It's murder. Yes, jealousy. When you play the bad guy, you put it all on me. Grow up, but I'm getting better. I listen to the same songs that I did 5 years ago. They say grow up, but I'm only human, still staring at the night sky, looking for the afterglow. Up, but I'm getting better. I listen to the same songs that I did 5 years ago. They say grow up, but I'm only human, still
Shine on.
Hell yeah.